Hi there, welcome to another Friday Findings video. Today I'm going to show you a cool new tool called the One-Step Looper. This tool only does one thing, but it does it very well. And what it does is it makes loops, such as this one. And we make a lot of these when we put together jewelry. We may make a loop on the end of a head pin after adding some beads to make a bead dangle. Or we may make a loop on the end of an eye pin to make a bead connector. Or we may make both of those loops ourselves rather than eye pins. So I thought I would show you how this works and give you some ideas for how you can use it. So here's one example of how you can use this. Here's a decorative head pin with a bead on it. And here's our tool. And the way it works is you slide your head pin under that pin through the cutting jaws, and if it's long you can slide the bead all the way up to this jaw right here, and there's a little hole back here for the excess wire to go through, and then all you do is squeeze your pliers. Make sure you allow your head pin to go up to 12 o'clock because that will give you a more closed head pin. Now this is one thing I don't really love about it, is that it doesn't close it entirely, but you can just take a pair of pliers and give it a twist and close it up. And this is how you would make a bead dangle. And you could also start with, rather than a purchased head pin, you could start with the purchased eye pin. Slide your beads on and it works the exact same way. The beads go under that pin, through the cutting jaws, and the excess goes out the hole. If you want to get a nicer bend and get your loop more centered, you can grab it and just bend it back a little bit, and that will center your loop better over your beads. And then once again you can grasp that loop and just give it a little twist to close it. And now you have a bead dangle. And this will work on any kind of head pins, plain head pins, decorative head pins, eye pins, it doesn't matter. Now the directions say that it will work anywhere from 26 to 18 gauge wire. This is a 26 gauge head pin. It's very fine, and you can see a couple things about it. First of all, it turns out not so round. It also turns out quite opened. And also, I simply wouldn't recommend using simple loops on any wire less than 20 gauge. 22 gauge, sort of, that's borderline. So I would say you would use these pliers for 18 or 20 gauge wire to make simple loops. Now you can also, like I said, you can start with purchase head pins or eye pins. But you can also make your own eye pins and bead links with wire. And what's nice about this is you don't have to have very much waste at all. So this is a length of wire that I have. Oh, it's about 10 inches long. And this isn't anything precious, but let's say it was sterling silver or even just sterling silver filled, and I didn't want to waste much of it. Right here are the cutters that trim your wire before bending it into a loop. So anything that goes past them is going to be waste. So if you don't want to waste much of your wire, when you put it in, the less you have sticking out beyond those cutters, the less you will waste. So here we'll just go ahead and make an eye pin. And there's your eye pin. That was the waste. So there's our loop and a nice long piece of wire that we're trying not to waste much of. And I'm going to slide my beads on. Slide them all the way down to that first loop. And if you're going to make bead connectors, you may want to straighten your wire. And now this whole length of wire goes through that hole into the tool, and we'll just slide it all the way up. Once again, the last bead is right, don't let it go in there, right to up against that jaw of the pliers. And now there's no waste. And we have perfect, consistent loops. So I think this is a great tool. It does one thing, it does it well. It makes loops of one size, and that's it. So it's great for multiples if you're going to be making a bracelet like the one in this video that has 63 simple loops, or you're going to be making something else with lots and lots of dangles, then it's a wonderful idea. But in my opinion, you should definitely learn with a pair of round nose pliers and chain nose pliers and wire cutters to make your own loops, because there are times when you'll want to make them smaller, times when you'll want to make them bigger. But if you're going to be making lots of multiples, then this would be a great time-saving device. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please make sure you've subscribed to my YouTube channel so you'll see more like it. And also click the like button and check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where I have lots more creative ideas and inspiration. Up on the screen are videos for 2 pieces of jewelry that use lots of simple loops, and the one-step looper would be very handy for that indeed. So happy creating. Bye-bye.